Meet Mongolia's #1 driver, Mongolia's most delightful guide, and me, an Aussie. Come with us to share the extraordinary sights and unique experiences of Mongolia. In this episode, we get a little bit lost, meet the helpful locals, get our flat tyres repaired, trek some valleys and volcanoes, and visit a remote monastery. We left Lake Hovsgol after getting different advice on the best way to Ep.8. One way was to go back to Muron the same way we had come 3 days ago, then take the main sealed road to Ep.8. Sensible advice, but we prefer adventure. These truck drivers assured us there was a way through the mountains to the east. This sounded much more interesting, and Otto was up for the challenge.
We're getting some directions to go to the next town from these truck drivers, the shortcut.
The boys took the opportunity to examine the old truck which was used for hauling logs to the mill. Okay, so today was a long 13-hour drive. Here's a quick overview. Large pink statue, flat tyre, cross a river, check directions, drive along a river, check directions, going the wrong way, back along the river, super bumpy road up the side valley, check directions, lunch stop, over the pass, toilet stop, check directions, along the valley, found the town, tyres fixed, check directions, sun went down, drove on in the dark, arrived at camp at 10:30 p.m, dinner and bed, woke to this view. Phew! If you want to see more detail on this day, keep watching. If you're happy with the summary, skip 6 minutes ahead and rejoin our trip when you see this photo again, and we will travel across Orkhon province. If you remember, the boys were checking out the log truck. We confidently drove on, coming across this memorial to Ahlongwa on a small rise in the middle of an uninhabited valley. The secret history of the Mongols tells us that Ahlongwa lived 10 generations before Chinggis Khan and was known as the Beautiful Queen. Her 5 sons are the ancestors of the various Mongol clans, and this statue was erected in 1992 at Argol, where it is believed her clan lived. On our way again, but just a few kilometres down the road. Yep, flat tyre #2.
So we're down to our last tyre. We had one flat, it's packed away, now that this one is dead flat. We've got about 40 kilometres to go to the next town. So we're going to change this one, and hopefully we won't get another one.
They're good roads though, there's nothing to be worried about.
We all helped out and the tyre was quickly changed and we were off again.
Just a little stretch stop. In the middle of nowhere.
The beauty of this long day of driving was the vast remoteness of the country. I'm sure we saw places and travelled through hills and valleys only visited by locals, definitely not on the tourist circuit. Whenever we passed a local, we would check our directions. Sometimes we were going the right way. Sometimes we were not. Sometimes the roads were barely more than a track in the grass. sometimes they were well formed and well travelled. The locals were always helpful, and we cherished the glimpse of local life that these meetings offered.
I'm learning if we're lost or where we're going next.
되게 잘 디메시네 들어라주던데. 이 나라 인테스는 게 미니고 나라 있지.
Hey, we're on a detour. We're a bit lost, and we found this nice little spot in the middle of nowhere, and this is where we're having our picnic. Down that road, about 60 kilometres, is a town with hopefully tyre repair facilities, because we've got 6 tyres and 2 are flat. Having cracker biscuits, Nutella, cheese slices, little round pastries, and tea.
We found the town of Erdenbolgen just before 5 p.m. and hoped the tyre repair shop would still be open. Again, we were met with friendliness and help. The mechanic opened his shop to help us. We unpacked the car, took out the 2 flat tyres, and Otto and the mechanic began work. They worked for 1.5 hours repairing 2 tyres. Total cost to us, $5.50 Australian. We took the opportunity to look around and use the toilet. Otto, that was a long and difficult day for you. You are Mongolia's #1 driver. Okay, let's continue with the story. We spent the morning at this camp on the edge of the Seleng River. We were the last guests for these owners. They were closing for winter and putting the gear camp on the market. They looked after us very well, and we felt quite privileged to spend their final morning with them. After breakfast, we drove east on the main road before taking a surprising turn-off.
Drive down a creek. Just climbed to the top of this little sandy hill. We stayed in Gear Camp. Behind that hill over there. Last night, it was very nice breakfast. That was the hill we were on. We went across there and up this big hill to get this view. Nice river with cows in the middle, sheep, goats. Very nice. Beautiful valley. Beautiful view. So what's the name of this river, Jackie?
Settling.
And it heads to
Lake
Russia.
Baikal
in Russia. Very beautiful. Different type of trees.
This valley was beautiful, and we sat for a long time enjoying the view. And those mountains over there definitely need exploring, but we'll have to leave that for another trip. Back on the road and 66 kilometres to Onnet.
This is where we centre line. And if a car comes, we'll move over. Start, you can see a truck up ahead, so he's still in the middle. Now he's starting to come over. If it's bumpy, we go back in the middle again. And then last minute, turns. Back in the centre. There we go.
With a few stops on the way. For scenery,
The colours of autumn. Greens, yellows.
and ice cream.
Ice cream spot. Just had our ice cream. Bought some water. And we're off again. And there's a Jackie. Watered up, ready to go.
We found our Gare camp for tonight. Again, we were the last guests for the season, so we stayed in log cabins as all the Gares had been taken down. After lunch, we were off to find some volcanic cones to climb. Ah, look, here's one. It was a steep climb to the rim of the volcano on very loose rubble. Quite tricky.
This is a very, very big valley on top of a volcano, walking around the rim. Here's the other side of the volcano rim. Way down there is a couple of trucks or little settlement there. Way over there in the square looking section. That is where we are staying. Right in the middle of a big valley.
Let's hope there's no flash flood.
When we reached the top, we had a great time walking around the rim and exploring the lake at the bottom of the crater. Michael and I decided to return a different way, down through the forest, enjoying the autumn colours and a much easier descent.
Well, we just climbed up the top of that volcano, right up there. And here they come now. The horses. What are they doing here, Jack?
Milking them.
Milking the horses.
On our way to climb another volcano, we stopped with this local family to watch the process of milking the horses. The horses are only semi-domesticated, and while they calmly let the family move amongst them, they did not tolerate us getting close. The process was interesting to watch. The horses are brought in every morning and the foals are tethered to a line. The horses are milked every 2 hours during the day. One at a time, each foal is taken to its mother and allowed to suckle for a minute to begin the milk flowing. The lady then moved in with her bucket, the foal was removed and taken back to its place on the tether rope, while the mare was milked by the family. This process continued until all mares had been milked, which took about 20 minutes. The process would all start again in another 2 hours. Horse milk is used to make arrack, an alcoholic fermented milk, and we sampled the product afterwards when we visited the family home.
I drink the whole thing.
Have you tried it before, Jack?
I would spend
It's like beer. Sounds.
On the way back to camp, we explored more of the volcanic landscape.
Up that hill. We got about a third of the way up. Brought the car back down again.
Surrounding grasslands and passing traffic. Next morning, on our way to the monastery, we passed through these large gates, which mark the border to provinces. The statues highlight the things the province is known for. There was some discussion in our car about whether the money spent to build the gate could have been put to better use. This monastery was built in the early 1700s and was one of the few to partly escape the Stalinist purges of 1937, although the ruins of smaller buildings can still be seen. Restoration began in 1988 and continues today. The location at the head of the Ivan Valley is wild and remote and provides for some stunning views.
354 steps. There's the monastery we just had a look through. And our gear camp is down there somewhere. Which is the third one in a row that's closing.
We spent the afternoon exploring the monastery before settling into our log cabin for the evening with our regular nighttime game of cards.
This is our little hut. Another hut which I think the family's using. A little truck with lots of wood in the back going into the restaurant. All these are the empty gear foundations. And that way down there is the toilet block. That round room is the restaurant. This is the restaurant. So it's all packed up, but our table is very nice.
The next morning we returned to the monastery to see the monks chanting. Notice how young the monks are. 2 of them less than 10 years old, obviously taking their lead from the older monk on their left. Even he would have been no more than 20. We also spent time talking to an adjacent Gare camp manager.
21 rooms with toilet and shower. People can stay for a whole year in winter and summer.
The profits from this camp go towards the restoration and maintenance of the monastery, and when you stay with them, you can contribute to the work they are doing and participate in daily monastic life. Join us next time as Ilse sweet talks our way into the third biggest copper mine in Mongolia, and we make our way towards the Gobi Desert.
You love me to feel